Thanks, Danny and your team, for this opportunity, and thanks to all the medical and security volunteers who stepped up and helped make this wonderful event a success. I've taught my 4-year-old granddaughter a joke. It's her very first joke that she can repeat. It's, why do you never see elephants hiding in trees? Anybody? It's because they're really good at it. She loves to shout that answer, because they're really good at it. Well, there's ambulance elephants hiding in trees every day in Alberta. And for some reason, most of the media and most of the rest of us can't see them. We may have heard about them. Here's why I say this. Ambulances are, by design, supposed to be available and working in the community. Go ahead. Too often, though, you can see them hiding in plain sight, 10 or more parked outside the hospital emergency department, while the paramedics are forced to wait inside the ER department with patients the hospital is refusing to accept. Information FOIP'd from the government, from this last government, showed Alberta paramedics spent 653,000 hours waiting in hospital ER hallways in 2016. We estimated that cost to be $21 million. And that's just the financial cost. That's not the cost to the patients on the street who are waiting for care. Now, nobody believes that hospital hallway waiting is the best use of paramedic time and talent, yet the practice continues. I believe it is a gross misuse of an expensive resource, and that it's just one example of a solvable crisis perpetuated by a broken healthcare system. But nobody fixes it, and there are many reasons for this. But here are two practical problems with solutions that those of us here in the room today can work on. Number one, few people understand the problem well enough to even attempt to fix it. If you don't work in healthcare, you don't know the secret language that they speak. You don't know any of the players. I'm certain none of them are here today. Are there? No? Number two, there's little or no accountability for failures at the organizational level. In fact, the greatest rewards seem to be given to those who simply continue to manage and perpetuate this broken system. They keep it limping along, serving some but not others, all at enormous expense, which in our case, as Frank pointed out, is almost half of the provincial budget in Alberta's case. And that's a lot of money. It's hard to think about how we let this happen. I mean, we're here today talking about how Albertans are being forced to keep a resource in the ground and prevent us from growing and developing an industry that benefits the entire world, while at the same time we're bungling an expensive and finite healthcare resource that we're going to continue to need regardless of any constitutional outcome. We're daily having to give Albertans excuses for ER hallway wait times, surgical procedure times, specialist wait times, and now more and more often, excuses for the time that citizens spend waiting for an emergency ambulance to arrive at critically ill and injured patients in the community. Well, I think it's time we put a stop to this practice of substandard and expensive mismanagement of this public safety resource. I'm a paramedic, and I've been a paramedic for almost 35 years. And today I have this to offer you in this short presentation. I'm asking those of you who are here today, who are leaders in your communities and who are interested and capable of working as part of a health Care PAC, a political action committee, to come over to the table at the back where I'm sitting, and sometime today before you go home, discuss the issue and pick up a small postcard, which will give you a link to some more information on this problem. And consider lending your assistance working towards specific goals improving healthcare. Not just this one, but other specific goals to deal with the waste and the frustration in healthcare. Now, I've spoken in front of paramedic professional bodies, government officials, and regulatory leadership across this country over the last 10 years working on this problem. And there's a lot of fear amongst those in the industry as they consider what it would cost them to confront what they call the healthcare deep state. These are powerful provincial organizations that have weathered a lot of controversy, and they work very hard to protect what should be public information about the job they're doing. We had to FOIP 7,000 pages of information. This is one slide from the result. I've met with the Alberta Minister of Health, and he's aware that I'm speaking to you here today. His staff have offered to assist with the names of MLAs, mayors, and city councillors who have previously spoken in their communities and in the legislature on this issue. I believe some of the leaders who the minister's staff are referring to are listening to me right now. A healthcare PAC could help improve and provide practical and affordable solutions to these healthcare problems, as well as visible support for this government. This government, I believe, are truly interested in the health of Albertans and are committed to providing the best possible and appropriate care. We can start by ending the practice of paramedic hallway waiting. This is the single most responsible and sensible first move. It will restore focus back onto the critically ill and injured patients who need the emergency paramedics' most timely attention. And it'll stop the abuse of this precious and finite resource so it's available to respond when our families need emergency care. I'm tired of arriving too late at calls that I should be there in time for. So let's stop ignoring the elephants in the trees. Let's form a health care PAC and come back to this conference next year with some good news on this subject for all Albertans. Thank you for your time, and please, if you can, consider coming over to see me at the table, and we'll discuss it further. Thank you.